So I do this series on my channel where I renovate houses that are built by my subscribers. They make these like older, rundown, kind of abandoned houses that we buy and renovate for a fixer-upper show, sort of like we're HGTV. And so today we are back with another one of those. This is called the Hurricane Home. It was built by Tazkabaz. So it's a 30 by 20 lot. It costs about 34,000 simoleons, and the description says, Lisa and Andy Phillips lived in this Floridian home with their child Sammy. Summer came around and they began locking down walls and renovating their house whilst residing in their caravan outside. However, a fateful hurricane hit the town, caused a sinkhole in their garden, and the family were never to be seen again. They've got a 30,000 simoleon budget to put this house back on the market. And this house is just so detailed. I love these fixer-uppers because people put in so much time and effort into like landscaping everything and putting all this clutter down. I mean, look at all these details with the trash everywhere. This house is like genuinely incredible. So let's break it down. Let's do a quick tour. As you can see, there was a hurricane. So there's a bunch of just things everywhere. There's like trash that's been blown into the yard. There's debris. There's, boards everywhere. There's a couch on the roof. There's a lot of broken walls that are missing. Same thing kind of around the side yard. There's complete missing walls and stuff. And then you get into the backyard and there's a giant hole. Taz said there was a sinkhole. Honestly, this is very unlucky property. The hurricane, the sinkhole, I mean, geez. But you know how I mentioned the family were never to be seen again? I might have found them. It's a bit morbid, but there they are. Now, the house was already in the process of being renovated when it was destroyed. So there was some existing walls that have already been partially knocked down. So you can see like some of the walls have been moved, they're missing. There's boards where they used to be. There's like some stains in the floor and stuff everywhere. It looks like it was originally maybe a 2-bedroom house, like maybe a bathroom here, a bedroom here, and then like the parents' bedroom upstairs. It's kind of hard to say. Obviously everything's a bit destroyed. There's also like a tree, a whole entire palm tree growing out the side of the house. Look at that. So as far as the house goes, we know it's in Florida, so we might want to have some sort of like tropical maybe vibe to it. Obviously, as a person who lives in Florida, I know that most of our houses are not so tropical, but that's what we're gonna go for. I want it to be at least 2 bedrooms, like 2 proper sized bedrooms. And I don't know, we have this whole sinkhole back here. Maybe we could like use it to make a pool. I don't know. There's already a hole in the ground. Let's just fill it with some water. But I think that's our plan. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and jump right on into the renovation. Okay, so we are back. We are renovating the house. And as always, the first step is to delete everything. I always feel so bad doing this because you just know that these people spend so much time putting all of this clutter down. And then I just come in and I'm like, yep, delete it. All of it's gone. I just go through and get rid of every single bit of it. And obviously it's the point. They don't expect me to keep all this like random boards and stuff in the house, but I just feel so bad knowing how much time it must have taken just for me to come in and just scrap it all. But it is like one of the best parts of this rebuild, I think. It's fun watching the house like slowly clean up, and everything is gone. So with this house, I managed to delete like pretty much everything. There wasn't much that was salvageable. I mean, most of the furniture was like broken. There was like broken fridges and stuff, so we probably weren't gonna keep most of the original furnishings from this home. They didn't really exist, and if they did, they were like on the roof, so probably not so salvageable. Also, there were radiators in every room, and I live in Florida. I happen to know that that's not the biggest concern. I have never once turned the heating on in this house. I've lived here for like 2 years now. I have never once used the heating in this house. So I deleted the radiators. I also went through and like repaired the broken walls. So we kind of started that way, like let's go through, let's clear up everything that's broken. Let's fix the walls that are missing. I put like a bit of an addition in the back of the house. I kind of expanded it a tiny bit to make the upstairs fit a little bit more. So the upstairs manages to have 2 bedrooms at the end of the day, although one of the rooms is very small. The kids' room is very small, but I think that's okay. And then I managed to change the entire style of this whole house. We went with like a completely different direction. I wasn't super sure when I was starting like what I wanted the house to look like, but I decided to take it like down this kind of like Mediterranean route, like sort of like how Oasis Springs looks. So I ended up even moving the house to Oasis Springs. I started building it in Newcrest, and then I was like, you know what, forget it, we're going to the desert. And I moved us over there. Florida and deserts, they make a lot of sense. But anyway, that part of Oasis Springs, like that grassy area next to the Calientes with the pond behind them, that looks very Florida to me. It works. But I think this house in general just has a very dramatic before and after, because obviously originally it was like so broken down, you couldn't even really see the house. And then at the end, it's like a completely different style. It's kind of a similar color scheme with the red roof and like the brown windows and stuff. So it's not that drastically different, but I definitely did change a lot of this one. Now, I mentioned Taz a second ago, but the person who built this house is a Twitch streamer and a YouTuber. And I've actually followed Taz for a while now on Twitch, but what I didn't realize is that I've actually met Taz in person before. So for some context, Taz lives in the UK and so does my boyfriend. My boyfriend Dan is from England. He went to the University of Portsmouth a couple years ago, graduated in like summer of 2019, right? And so I obviously went to his graduation, but keep in mind, we didn't have like a super public relationship at the time. We've been together for like 3 years now, but I didn't really talk about him much online for the first like year of our relationship. I talked about it on Twitch a lot, but not a ton on YouTube. Like I don't know, I kind of private about relationships, I guess, apparently. So I didn't talk about him a ton online. So like most people probably didn't know that I had a British boyfriend. But I went to his graduation, and while I was there, I got a tweet from somebody who was like, "Hey, Kayla, are you at the University of Portsmouth graduation right now?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." Indeed, I am. Turns out it was Taz, because Taz also went there and graduated that same day. And so I went to Taz's university graduation. I think that's so funny, because keep in mind, a lot of people didn't know we were dating. So the idea of me, this random girl from Florida, being at this random university graduation in Portsmouth is like so bizarre. Like what was I doing there? Why is lilsimsie there? I'm not sure if Taz knew about Dan or not, but I think that's so funny. Like the idea of seeing a YouTuber that you watch at your own graduation, especially in like a different country, is just so bizarre. Like the chances of that are so small. Like what a weird like coincidence. And now she's a Twitch streamer, a Sims Twitch streamer. So I will link her channel down below. I think she's so cool, and she's obviously a very, very talented builder. So, and me and her go way back. Lifelong IRL friends, me and Taz, clearly. We've met before. I don't get recognized a ton in person. I mean, especially not back then. I had a way smaller channel back then. Now it's different, but I also don't get out much. So I haven't been recognized much this year, actually at all, because I haven't left my house much at all. But back then, like I probably had gotten recognized like less than 10 times ever. And so it's kind of funny that like it happened to happen at my boyfriend's college graduation. Like what a small world. And then I didn't even have my own college graduation because there was a, bit of a pandemic. So but anyway, the house is kind of coming along. You can see it's now cleaned up, and we've kind of figured out what we want the outside to look like. I really, really, really struggled with the floor plan. The staircase situation was very difficult for me to figure out. I did not know where to put it, and I did not know what I wanted it to look like. I think it makes sense that it was so difficult for me because it's like a really small upstairs, and it was hard to like figure out where the staircase could go without it like being super in the way of things. So we had to like move around the staircase a ton. That was a real struggle for me. And of course, the poor kids room ends up being really, really small, but I think it was okay. It makes sense to have a smallish kids room. The parents have a nice big room. There's one bathroom upstairs and one bathroom downstairs. And then we have like a beautiful kitchen and dining room on the left, and then a fancy living room on the right. And it looks really nice. Although there is a very weird office space downstairs. You'll see it all come together. Just keep in mind, this floor plan was very hard for me. I didn't want to like make the house too much bigger, so I didn't add onto the house a ton downstairs, but obviously I added onto the house a little bit upstairs. I kind of like expanded the back of the house a tiny bit to have a little bit more space because it was a very small second floor, and I really wanted to have like a whole bedroom up there. So we managed it. It was just weird. No fault of Taz. It's just a fault of like me trying to do this style of house, I think. It's not Taz's fault, it's weird. Taz did a wonderful build. I'm the one who tried to make it weird. Now, if you want to build a house for Fixer Upper, you can do it too. I've done like hundreds of these on my channel now, but if you post a house to the gallery with the hashtag #FixMeLilSimsie, I might download and renovate it. I like houses like this one that have a backstory and like give me a budget and are very detailed. Like I love this kind of thing. You don't need to have a ton of packs for it. I totally don't care about that. Don't worry. This one has a ton of packs, but a lot of them don't. I just like the creative stories. They bring me a lot of joy. It really speaks to me. So that's my recommendation to you. And again, that's hashtag #FixMeLilSimsie. And honestly, even if I don't renovate yours, this kind of house is just really fun to build. Like I think most of us probably don't often build like rundown houses on purpose, like it's probably not a thing that you build all the time. And so this might be a fun challenge to try and branch out and build something like this. So that is my recommendation. Now, I have a couple other things to point out about the interior now that we've like finished the downstairs layout. You'll notice that I put like a sunken kitchen and a sunken living room, which is a bit weird. Seems a bit bit odd, but here's my backstory, right? I also put the house on a lower foundation. It was on a 3-high one. I moved it down to a 2-high foundation, and then I sunk 2 of the rooms. That's not the most realistic thing that a person might do in a renovation of a house, but there was a sinkhole in the backyard. The house sunk a little bit. The kitchen, it sunk. That's how that works. True story, 100% accurate story. That's really what happened. That's real life, true thing that happened. So I shrunk the house a tiny bit, but that was my excuse, is the sinkhole. To be honest, I don't want to think much about sinkholes anymore. I'm very afraid of sinkholes. I'm not into that concept. Personally, I'm anti-sinkhole, so we can stop talking about it. But I did make some jokes about this one in this house because obviously the pool is like where the sinkhole used to be and all of that. So I ended up also putting tile everywhere in the whole downstairs. A lot of people in my Twitch chat were like super anti-tile, which I guess I understand, but keep in mind, this is a house that's meant to be in Florida. Now, I live in Florida, so as our resident Florida expert, literally, Florida resident expert, a lot of houses here have tile everywhere. Maybe not tile that's this bold, like this is very patterned and bright. Like the house that I grew up in, my parents' house, has like a beige square, big, just like your standard beige square tile. They've got it everywhere in the whole downstairs. So a lot of you might recognize that just plain beige square tile just laid everywhere in the whole downstairs. A lot of houses here are like that. Like most houses, in fact, are like that. So the tile makes a lot of sense. You might not like it. You might be anti-tile, but I thought it was pretty, and I also find it very realistic. So I kept the tile in this house. I'm sorry if you're anti-tile. Honestly, I personally am anti-tile as well. My dream is hardwood floors. I want to live in a house with real, like, genuine hardwood, beautiful flooring. I just, I live in Tile Central, literally, so Tile Central in Central Florida. The tile that I use in most places is the Jungle Adventure tile, which, by the way, Jungle Adventure is such a good pack. They have so many good build items for this, so I used a lot of Jungle Adventure in this build, but I also put some base game tile in the bathrooms. So there's a base game, like, orange tile in the bathrooms and a Jungle Adventure wallpaper in there. So I tried to mix it up a little bit to, like, branch it out, and then upstairs has the hardwood flooring. My house upstairs has carpet, but I don't really like how carpet looks in The Sims. So I didn't do that. But like in my house, there's like carpeted stairs and then carpeted hallway and carpeted bedrooms up here. Like everything, the whole upstairs is carpet in this house, but I can't deal with the Sims 4 carpet, and there are no carpeted stairs, so I didn't do that. We aren't going for like absolute realism here, although that probably is pretty realistic. Like carpet's just a cheap, easy thing to put everywhere. This house isn't super cheap, so I guess, we can have wonderful, beautiful hardwood flooring. I'm into it. So the parents' bedroom has this sort of like blue and green color scheme. There's like a light blue kid's bedroom. I tried to have a pretty generic looking kid's bedroom too, so that you could kind of live here with any sim that you wanted to. You'll also see that we started cutting it really close budget-wise. Like I was furnishing the last rooms and I was like, oh no, I only have like 6,000 simoleons left. And I really wanted to have a pool outside, so I was like, oh dear, we need to try and cut back a little bit here. We need to save some money. So there is an office, there's a computer in the office, there's also a desk upstairs, I think. So we've got a few things going on up here. It's not like the most beautifully furnished home. There's like some somewhat cheap furniture, but I didn't really want to like skimp on the kitchen and the bathrooms because I loved how they looked. I wanted to keep those things. So we ended up having to have like a little bit less furniture than I might have liked in a lot of the spaces, but it's okay. I don't think it looks bad. And I used debug landscaping, so the landscaping was free, so that helped a lot too. I do have some quick news for you all though that I wanted to share with you. So if you didn't know, my dad has cancer, right? That's one way to start the sentence. But my dad got his first COVID vaccine shot today, which is really, really big news. He didn't know he was gonna get it. My dad has like pretty frequent appointments. He's got like 2 cancer doctors basically. One of them's at Moffitt, this like cancer center in Tampa, and he has like regular like appointments there. And they're like the big ones, the big boy ones, And when he was there, they were like, hey, we have the vaccine for you. And he was like, hello? And so he got the vaccine today. So my dad got his first COVID vaccine shot today. I was very, very excited about this, and I thought you would be too. Obviously, I have been very stressed having like a very high risk person in my family with all of this going on. So very good news that I thought you'd all be interested in hearing about. I even like tweeted about it this morning. I was really excited about it. So now my grandparents all had the vaccine. My dad had the vaccine. It's just such a relief, knowing that people in your family are getting it. So I hope that you can have that same relief soon. I feel like I just said all that very quickly. I'm sorry. I have a habit of talking too fast. I've been working on it for years. It used to be a very big meme on my channel, but sometimes when I get excited, I just like word vomit very quickly. So my apologies. I'm just excited, okay? I'm just excited. But back to the build, we're kind of getting like down to the wire here with the end of it. So we only have like 2,000 simoleons left, and I'm like slowly trying to make sure I finish furnishing everything else. And I managed to do it. It worked out well. I think right now it looks very empty, but once I get the landscaping in, it's all good. I promise. The one thing I did notice though, I don't know if you remember, but there's those items, that like set of really cute plants that come with Jungle Adventure, and it comes in a set of like all 3 of them attached, and also a set of them each like individually, and all 3 of them attached cost like 300 simoleons, but they cost like 50 simoleons each. So it's more expensive to buy them attached and it's cheaper when you buy them alone. Isn't that so weird? Because it's the same plants. Like there's 3 plants and there's one item that's all 3 of them, and then one that's each of them individually. I think you'd expect like the attached version to be cheaper, like you get like a bundle, you know, a budget bundle. But no, it is actually more expensive to buy the attached Jungle Adventure plants. So I managed to put them all separate, and then we used some debug landscaping, a lot of island living landscaping actually. I put a bunch of like pretty flowers and stuff. I ended up putting big palm trees, not these banana trees, but big palm trees instead. And I think it just all looked really good at the end of the day. It's very lush, very beautiful. If you didn't know, you can go into debug and you can access free landscaping in The Sims 4. You type in testing sheets on, and then bb.show hidden objects, and then bb.show live edit objects, and that shows you into this whole debug menu, and you can access everything, like all the little random items that you can't get in build mode but your sim might use, like all the collectibles. Think like, you know, a cup that they might get water from, like all that random stuff that they'll pick up and hold, but you can't like just buy in build mode. You can access all of that from debug, but then you can also access all the landscaping with that like live edit sheet. And that landscaping, so you might see like around you in the world, like here in Oasis Springs, there's plants like in the neighborhood that are planted everywhere. A lot of them aren't actually the same plants that we have access to in build mode, and they're also like completely different models, but you can access them with that live edit objects cheat. The one thing about it is that they aren't like actually objects, so your sims will walk through them. It's very weird, but for the most part they won't actually walk through them, and they look really good. A lot of them are the same as the regular ones in build mode. There's also some cooler extra ones that you can access, and they're free. So it works out very well for houses like this one where we have a budget and we can't really afford to get a bunch of extra stuff, you know? So obviously I use that all the time when I'm doing like cheaper homes. I think this house ends up costing like 60,000 simoleons. It also uses a bunch of packs. For that, I'm very sorry. Not all of the packs, but a bunch of packs. I've noticed that I've been using the paranormal stuff pack a ton in like all of my builds. It's also a new pack, so that's probably why. But honestly, that paranormal stuff is probably one of my favorite builds packs in the whole game. Like that's a very good stuff pack. The couch is just so good, you know? So I definitely use that one. There's a lot of Jungle Adventure in here. I think for the most part though, the one you'll probably need the most is Jungle Adventure. A lot of the furniture is base game. Otherwise, like all the couches in this living room are base game stuff, but like the tile, the kitchen, all of that's Jungle Adventure. So probably gonna need that pack. Also, island living is all the landscaping. So those are the biggest ticket items, I think. There's like a Get Famous rug, I think, and there's a few other things, but for the most part, I think the most used pack in this is Jungle Adventure. It's just that kitchen stuff's so good. The tile is so good. I had to use it. I had to do it. Also, I sincerely apologize. There's a person with a leaf blower outside, and it's very loud, and they won't stop, and I have to finish recording the video. So if you can hear that in the background, I'm really sorry. But we're kind of wrapping up the build here, just putting some like last minute finishing touches, using up the last of our money basically to find like random little decorations and stuff to put down. And that's pretty much the build. So if I can remind you what it used to look like, it is a very, very, very different home now. Same shape, same roofing, just completely different. And so if we go in and we place the renovated version, the newer updated edition of that original home, you can see that the bones are all there. It's just very different looking. So we've got some way bigger windows. There's actually walls around. The landscaping is all cleaned up. There's a big front porch. There's a big back porch too. And we have this wonderful backyard with like some lounge chairs and a pool. Oh, I didn't put a pool ladder. That's okay. You don't need one. Your Sims are fine. In the old Sims games you did, but in the Sims 4 they don't need a ladder. They're smart enough to get in and out without one. And then inside we have this like proper entryway here. There's a bathroom off the entry, like a small, just a half bathroom. To the left we have this beautiful kitchen that's slightly sunken. I actually sunk it a little bit because I wanted the windows to fit underneath the counters better. That was the entire reason. But I think it worked out pretty well. And then we have the dining room attached to it. I tried to put like ceiling fans and things too because I figured it was kind of realistic. And there's like another hallway at the back that kind of also serves as an office space. And you can go back through that to get into the living room. It's a nice big room. There's like plants and a TV and stuff like that. Upstairs, we've got another hallway with a desk. Maybe the kid can do his homework there. I don't know. There's a shared bathroom here. I think the color scheme of these is actually really cute. I'm a big fan of these bathrooms. And then the kid has their own room with the blue stuff everywhere. I think this layout works out pretty well too for a small kid's room. It fits everything you need, you know, like desk, dresser, bookcase, bed. And this could easily be a teen's room too, so it works out. The parents have a way bigger bedroom, but they deserve it. A nice, you know, retreat, if you will. And that's the whole house. I'm kind of proud of this one. I like it a lot. One weird thing though, look at this mailbox. You see how it's off the lot? I can't click on it and delete it. So I have a mailbox like in the front yard. This is our mailbox. I can't get rid of this one. It's just there. I can't do anything with it. Like it works like a regular mailbox in live mode, but the mailbox is just stuck there and it's off the lot, so I can't do anything about it. It won't be on your lot if you download the house, but it's glitched on mine for some reason. And look, even if I bulldoze the lot, it's still there. Like I can't get rid of it. It just stays. Anyway, I like this house. I love Taz's original build. Again, I will link Taz's channels down below if you want to check them out. And on that note, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye everybody. And like I said, if you want to build a house for Fixer Upper, hashtag #FixMeLilsimsie on the gallery and I might download and renovate it. I like to do Fixer Uppers. I know you know this, but like my favorite thing to do in The Sims is renovate houses. So